Something happened today which really concerned me. I was sitting in my local cafe and picked up a copy of the Mail on Sunday, which was sitting on the table. I flicked through and I found the article you see on the screen. Nothing special about the article. Some Tory MP, Patrick Mercer, had been sounding off about David Cameron. At least he denied it, but the Mail claims to have a voice recording of his comments. Anyway, according to the Mail, he said that David Cameron was an A*E, the worst politician since Gladstone, and should never have been born. A quick look at the Mail online comments, 128 in all, and you can see most people agreeing with Patrick Mercer. But that's hardly the point. The thing which chilled me to the bone was this. In paragraph 4, the text describes Patrick Mercer as, quote, a former Homeland Security spokesman for the Tories. Well, excuse me, but I thought Homeland Security was an American organisation, not a British one. For a moment, I wondered whether the journalist meant to imply that Mercer simply reported what Homeland Security was up to in the US. But that's not what the text says. It says a former Homeland Security spokesman for the Tories. Again, in paragraph 6 from the bottom of the article, it states that Patrick Mercer was forced to resign as the Tories' quote, Homeland Security spokesman. Wikipedia also describes Patrick Mercer as having held the position of, quote, Shadow Minister for Homeland Security. So it's official, folks. Homeland Security has arrived in the UK. It's not exactly a hopeful sign. Homeland Security has a terrible reputation in the US, with increasing numbers of ordinary American citizens complaining about its overreaching powers and about how Homeland Security has destroyed their constitutional rights. Some have described it as the start of fascism in the US. Executive order after executive order has resulted in the whole-scale destruction of the Constitution in the US, or so our friends in the US tell us. We all know that Britain is no stranger to surveillance and the erosion of personal liberty among its citizens. But the use of the term Homeland Security still sends shivers down my spine. I wondered why they use this term. It would be so easy to destroy personal liberties, but to use another term for the security service. The answer can only be that if the global elite are going for world government, they will need to have one term for security throughout the world. To do otherwise would be to differentiate between countries, emphasising individual sovereignty, which is what the global elite want to avoid at all costs. It really is not an option to sit back and do nothing now, my friends. As I mentioned in an earlier video, reading the mainstream press isn't of much use if you want to know the truth about anything, but if you read between the lies, as I do, you can spot what propaganda is being pushed. And in this case, the prostitutes are using this article, not as first appears, as a criticism of Cameron, but in order to introduce slyly and at an almost subliminal level the term Homeland Security as being an existing department in the British government.